Hi everyone, it's Niamh here and welcome to my art journaling page. Today we're going to be looking at a page I created in my Dina Wakley journal and looking at solving some problems as they go along. So this started out on a denim page in my newest blue journal, and it already had a little bit of stamping and a bit of over spray from the page on the right hand side. So I decided I would just use some neutral colours of paint just to give a little bit of a background to spray on so that the colours stayed really nice, bright and vibrant. So I used a mixture of sand and mineral just because they were what I had and my gesso wasn't anywhere near. I just wanted something light to spray over. So I'm getting out my gloss sprays and cleaning up the edge because I'm a terror for not cleaning, and cleaning around my edge of my glass spray, and then going over and stamping it off on the extra page. So you sort of get a reverse of the stencil, which gives you a cool effect sometimes. So this is the new orchid colour gloss spray, which I really like, and I really sort of liked the beginnings of this page. It had very strong possibilities at the beginning, and then the middle of it went a bit wobbly, and then I think we kind of got it back at the end, but we'll see how we go. So I decided that I wanted to put some blossoms on this page, or stems, leaves, something like that. So this is a new I think it's called Growing Things stencil mask set from Dina Wakley, which I really love. And I'm just using some black gesso on the page. You see you've got a beautiful, really strong silhouette of the leaves coming through. And in all honesty, I probably should just left it once I'd sort of done the black stuff on it and not gone the extra step in the end. But, you know, hindsight is a wonderful, wonderful thing. And sometimes it's a good and bad thing about videoing your pages as you do them, because you sort of see them and go, why didn't I stop there? Why did I keep going? But, you know, it is what it is, and I was having fun doing it. So I'm just sort of cleaning up and filling in the gaps that I can find on my page. I've also added on, you can see I'm sort of putting the stencils together so that they can play with each other and extend over the page. And then I'm using my heat tool to dry off the excess in it. Because I had some extra gesso on my page, I just got my craft journal and painted the rest into it. So that'd be another page for another day to do something on. So once I've done this, I knew I wanted to put some white pen over this just to add in some extra details. Now, I'm using my Posca paint pen to do this. Which is a fine 1M tip, which is one I think the finest you can get. I love it, and one of the things I find if I'm doing this on canvas or on the denim is it kind of splatters a little bit, which is something I really like about the effect that I get from it. I know some people don't like that splattery effect, so I'm not 100% sure. If you left it to dry maybe overnight, so it's really, really dry, you could probably put a gel pen or something over the top of it. To be honest, I've never tried because I don't have the patience to wait that long. So this is basically what you see is what you get. As soon as it's dried, I've got my paint pen on it. So just be aware that you may get some spattery effect from this at the end. So I'm just going in and drawing around the outside. I'm kind of leaving a really, really tiny white border around the edges, which will help the white pop out a little bit more, putting in a little bit of detail into the dandelion seed heads and onto the flowers themselves as well. So I knew I wanted to put something else onto this page, but I wasn't sure what. And this is the bit that didn't quite work. So I thought I would be really smart and I'd tie in the leaves with this new collage sheet from Dina Wakley, and tie in the colour that I had in the background with the Collage Collective. So I've got it going through. So just using some gel medium and pasting it over the top, I've now got that collage images over the top of my Collage Collective. And I wanted to make a figure, so I'm using this new stamp. I think it's from Let the Art In set. It's really scribbly. Again, because I wasn't taking time and effort with it, when I stamped it, I pressed a little heavily and got some of the shadowy bits on the stamp, which doesn't usually happen. It was just bad stamping on my behalf. So I'm just cutting out a really simple body shape using the figure, and I had this idea that I quite liked the neck sticking there. I don't know why. I changed it in the end. But when I put it onto my page, I suddenly thought, oh, you're going to have a problem here, Niamh, because it just blended in. It did not stand out from the background. So while I was trying to think, how am I going to solve this, I did what I usually do and just kept my hands busy by doodling over the top of it. And I thought, well, maybe having, a repeating pattern with the flowers outlined, that would help. So I did that, and then I thought, oh, okay, I'll, do the eyes of my figure, which I tend to usually do. I thought I'd put a little bit of red onto the cheeks, so I got my paint pens out to do that. And again, that red is sort of picking up that colour from the background. But as I put it down on my page, it's like, this isn't going to work. And the other thing was, because I didn't use a white in the background, it's actually a sandy colour and a bluey colour. When I put the white on the page, it really sort of stood out, didn't have anything to sort of blend it in. Because I had the blue in the eyes, I thought, well, maybe if I outline it with blue, that will help it stand out from the background a little. So you can see me testing it out again, and I just did not like it. So I kept working on it. I got this peach colour for the face. This is a Woody Stabilo pencil. It just gets worse. So as I was colouring it in, and you'll see this in the close-up, it sort of brought in some of the Stabilo pencil that I got. So it's sort of it's not even a clean colour. It's sort of a bit dirty. And that made it look even worse. And I was just like, oh, I'm giving up on this. You can see me tapping my fingers. What am I going to do? So I actually thought I'd just bin it and start again. But I thought, no, just keep working on it. You'll either love it or hate it. You haven't glued it into your book yet, so just see how it goes. And the piece of paper that I had stuck on this had those lovely lines on it. So I don't know where the idea of rainbow came in, but I just grabbed my paint pens and thought I'd colour in rainbow. I think because I knew that the colour that I'd used in the background just wasn't working at all, so I thought if I at least have a rainbow of colours, it might really stand out, and also having that sort of stripy effect worked really well. So I actually really enjoyed doing this little bit. It's probably as boring as watching paint dry, literally, by watching it. But the good thing about it is those black lines on the collage tissue are, very prominent, so it's really easy to colour in between the lines. Now, obviously, if you didn't have paint pens, you could use colour pencils. You could use paint if you have a really steady hand. Any medium will do exactly the same. I just find acrylic paint in a pen form really, really convenient when I'm doing artwork, particularly if I'm doing fine stuff, because I just don't have the control for doing really fine brushwork. The other thing was, because I'd already doodled around those black bits and I didn't want to do it again, I was trying to be really careful of not going over it, so I just wanted that a little bit more control. So I got up to the neck and did that, but I still wasn't 100% sure. As I put it down, I thought, well, it certainly doesn't go, but at least it looks better than it did. It wasn't blending as much, so I thought, oh well, you've spent the time doing this, glue it in, which I did. Once I'd done that, then I decided that I would stick on one of these little graffiti sayings. And I chose the Stay Weird one because I thought it was just a little bit weird. Because I knew if I glued it down as is onto the page, it would obviously, you'd see the lines behind some of it, you would see some of those leaves coming through. And I wanted it to stay quite white so you could see it. So I'm just using a glue stick and gluing it down onto a piece of cardboard and tearing out around it. So it's, stays like, obviously, it looks like a stamped image in the end. Then I've just gone around the edge with a black ink pad just to edge it a little bit. When I was sitting there doing that, I could see that some of the pieces I had coloured in weren't 100% finished, or they just needed touched up a little bit. I'm just going in with a black paint pen And then my white one again, just to finish it off a little bit. I thought by drawing some of the leaves up onto the neckline it would help, but in the end I decided that I'll get my blue pen out and just finish it off and colour it all in. So I don't know if that's better or worse, but it made me happier in the long run, and I'm just edging that off using my black pen as well. So I was nearly finished. I'm outlining my letters with my turquoise, just to add a little bit of that turquoise back in again. I still wasn't happy with the head, so I had this gold paper that I painted. It's using some beautiful metallic paint from Golden, and I just paint up pieces of white card, as you can see, with this, and then use it to cut out crowns and so on for my little paper dolls or whatever I've got. So I put some red on as well. Who doesn't need a crown that doesn't have rubies on the head? And pop that on. So I'm just outlining those and putting in a little bit of a reflection on the crown, and that's the finished piece. So you can see by the face how scratchy the paint pen or the colour pencil over the top was. It's not a brilliant page, it's not my favourite page, but I'm glad I kept persisting with it, particularly with that doll, because I really was unhappy with it. It's probably not the best doll for that background, but it is what it is, and it was an enjoyable hour of my life that I sat there making it and having it put in my journal. So the best thing, I suppose, about it is just be persistent and keep going. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, bye for now.